Welcome back to the morning show here on Rise News. While the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is enmeshed in internal crisis, some governors have gone on with governance and carrying out various projects in their states. One of such states is Delta, where the governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, has been rumored to be planning a switch to the All Progressives Congress APC. However, the Delta State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has responded to the All Progressives Congress over reports of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's alleged defection. Delta State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Charles Aniagwu, has said that Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has not or was not interested in fighting any political battles, but would steadfastly continue to reply to critics with massive project delivery ahead of 2027. The commissioner said, and I quote, "Oborevwori is a very proud member of the People's Democratic Party. Today, Oborevwori is a clear leader amongst leaders of the party in Nigeria, and he's not in any way hungry to abandon the People's Democratic Party," end of quote. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss the state of affairs in Delta State under Governor Sheriff Oborevwori is Charles Aniagwu, Delta State's Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. He would also be discussing the infrastructure and human capital development in the state, implementation of minimum wage, and local government autonomy. Good morning, Mr. Aniagwu, and welcome to the morning show. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Bimbai. Good morning. It's nice to be here.
Great. So let's go straight to the point. Is the governor planning to defect, or has he already defected clandestinely, to the APC? I said this because whilst you've come out with a statement saying that there's nothing like that, it is just rumors, but we've seen a bromance between the governor and the president in recent times. At the governor's son's wedding, Mr. Clinton, 4 weeks ago, the president was said to have described him as a bridge builder. In fact, he was represented there by the Minister for Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo. In turn, the governor has said, he's willing to support the initiatives by the president on his renewed hope agenda, support him in these areas. These are interesting times. There's some sort of camaraderie, bromance, relationship between both. And so it would definitely fire the conversation that there is some form of decamping in the works for Governor Sheriff Oborevwori. What do you say about that?
Well, thank you very much for this privilege to appear on Arise TV this morning. And let me also seize this opportunity to appreciate the editors of Arise and This Day for recognizing what we are witnessing in Delta, which of course accounted for the nomination of our governor, amongst top 5 governors in the country that are indeed performing. And so we thought we were alone, but we didn't know that even far away, Lagos and Abuja, that the editors of Arise and This Day were also very busy taking a look at what we are doing there. Now, when you go to the hospital as a patient, usually doctors will bring up equipment to test the kind of sickness that possibly you have in your system. And when they place it, also with the advantage of a combination of the stethoscope, the doctor will tell you, you have this, you have this. I wish you have the ability to set up a political lab and come and test the political temperature of those of us in Delta. You will see that the PDP is heavily pronounced and profound in our bloodstream. I recall mentioning that to you in one of my appearances in the last administration. And that PDP has not in any way waned in terms of its effects in our bloodstream. And so that explains to you the fact that those who are rumoring that Oborevwori wants to move to the APC are only wishing that he comes to swell up their rank. Oborevwori is not only a proud member of the PDP and remains a leader of PDP both in Delta and in Nigeria, he is also a performing governor who has also been able to show that he can be regarded as the poster governor for the PDP. And so those who are wishing that he's jumping ship, we want to tell them that Oborevwori is not in the business of jumping. And apart from that, I am also happy that even following your recognition by way of nomination as among those who are performing, that Oborevwori is trying to let Nigerians know that the PDP have the strength to deliver, even as we continue to cooperate with the president of Nigeria, because at the moment he does not have any opponent as a president. And so when we declared, like the governor declared that he needed to support the president, even as they support the governor for the purpose of bringing good governance, it was in the spirit of patriotism. not on the platform of looking for where to jump to. Today, Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, and I know nobody is contesting that. And so if Tinubu does not have an opponent as a president, because he's no longer a presidential candidate, when in 2027, 2026, 2027, and we're going into an election, we can begin to talk about those who want to challenge Tinubu. Today, he's the president. So if our governor says Deltans, who are also Nigerians, support Tinubu, it is because in doing so, it is in our own enlightened self-interest that the success of Tinubu cascades into the success of any governor in Nigeria. In Delta, we are not in the business of fighting constituted authority. We're always in the business of supporting those in authority, because by so doing, we are also bringing development to our people. And that development has been the preoccupation of Sheriff Oborevwori. Perhaps in the course of this discussion, I will take you into details of what he's doing in terms of infrastructure development, human capital development, and of course, most importantly, security and welfare of the people, which of course is the main purpose of Section 14, subsection 2, paragraph B of the Nigerian Constitution. And so, as we progress, I do wish we have enough time. So, the short, the long of it all is that Oborevwori remains in the PDP. He did not even dream, not to talk of in reality, of leaving the party. Those who are rumoring, like you said, are very free to rumor and are very free to wish. Wish is very free, that he comes to swell up their party. But for us in the PDP, we know that Oborevwori remains a poster governor.
All right, very well said. Well, some might argue that the PDP is a party that's fast headed to the way of extinction, given the never-ending squabbles throughout the last election. It was downplayed as a family fight, internal family fight. But we've seen that there seems to be no solution in sight. The ambitions of individuals is what's driving this. You have a president or a former presidential candidate who doesn't want to zone to another region. You have another, leading stalwart of the party who's pulling in a different direction and destabilizing other PDP states. So the question is, what does PDP really have to offer the governor that he would remain so loyal to it?
We are very happy in the PDP that both the media and the Nigerian public continue to discuss the party. What that tells you is that PDP indeed remains a household name in this country. And so it makes some persons to lose sight of the fact that politics is more or less concentric circle of conspiracy, where the different actors conspire for the purpose of gaining power. Yes, it is true that we have some form of squabbles and contestation, as it were, in the party. And you cannot rule that out for a party that is believed to have done so well in the 16 years that it had sway with respect to the leadership of this country. For those individuals who think that PDP is going into extinction, I think that is the height of malaria-induced dream. PDP is going through a process of rejuvenation. What you see in any political circle, that those who have got the strength oftentimes are in the mainstream of public discourse. It is true that within the PDP, we're also taking steps to see how we can resolve a number of the issues that are not clearly within the realm of understanding of those who are not in the political circle. It is also true that other political parties, particularly the one in power at the moment, would wish that the PDP becomes weaker. But for those of us who are in the PDP, and a good example is what Oborevwori is doing with respect to project execution and reaching out to the hearts of Deltans. And I am sure Nigerians are also seeing. You can also see what's happening in Enugu, that's PDP state. You can see what's happening in Akwa Ibom, PDP state. You can see even in the midst of troubles what Fubara is doing in Rivers, PDP state. Why am I taking steps to mention these states? To tell you that that development that PDP is known for is still very much in the hearts of those who are holding sway. For the few who are taking actions that may not be quite promotional of the party, it is just a matter of time, but just see it within the realm of contestation that is allowed in any political contest, and then, like I said, concentric circle of conspiracy. They are very free to conspire, but the PDP, for no reason, will go into extinction. That will not happen. By the grace of God, the leaders of the PDP, and indeed Nigerians, and most importantly, those of you who are in the media, because when you look back up to 2015, you will know that there's a very great difference between what you have now and what it was under the PDP leadership. So it is the wish, and I know, of most Nigerians that the PDP bounce back. And by the grace of God, the PDP will bounce back, not just bounce back for the purpose of politics, but bounce back for the purpose of governance, like what Oborevwori is doing in Delta. And in the course of time, Nigerians will understand that politics is not just a question of those people who are in power satisfying themselves, but for those who are in power to be able to make a difference in the lives of those they are governing. Just yesterday, we had the privilege of once again accompanying the governor to inspect a number of projects. Even on Sunday, as soon as he closed from the church, some of us were thinking of how we can lie down and stretch our body after the stress of the previous week. The governor called us out. We went through for more than 6 hours a number of projects in the capital territory. Why was he doing that? He wanted to be sure that the money we are spending as a state is indeed reaching out to the hearts of Deltans, which is value for money. And we'll continue along that line. And we believe that a number of other leaders of the PDP will continue by way of peer review and peer understanding to see what Oborevwori is doing and then also emulate same for the purpose of having a better country.
All right, but before I go into talking about some of the achievements or what the governor is doing for Delta State, because I know that's quite important to evaluate the successes or some of the achievements since he took office. I still want to probe about this claim about PDP still being a very strong party. A lot of people will beg to differ. Number one, you haven't won major elections in recent times. You lost Edo State last year, one of your strongholds. You didn't play a significant role in the Ondo State elections. You've also lost Kwara State as well. So these are questions that people would ask, that you are so belabored by issues with the chairman, zoning, the fact that your presidential candidate is refusing to listen to members of the party and allow, fairness in terms of equity with regards to zoning. Those challenges seem to dominate the headlines as opposed to what the PDP is doing as the main opposition party. In fact, people are questioning whether the PDP is still the main opposition party, that perhaps Labour has overtaken the PDP as the main opposition party currently. You cannot even be an opposition party when you are being opposed within your own party and you're facing opposition within. We have the G5 governors. There's still the shadow of the G5 governors. We have a prominent PDP member as a part of the cabinet of the APC and working actively against your party. So you can't say that people are, a lot of things are not happening. I say that because that is the main justification as to why some governors like Oborevwori or Governor Oborevwori, Governor Sim Fubara have been touted to perhaps be considering or reconsidering their options, that there's nothing in it for PDP. And then I go back to what you said about you saying that you respect constituted authority. Last month, December, a statement by the executive assistant on new media to the governor had come out quoting a statement saying that the President Tinubu administration's policies have impoverished Nigerians. So that was one statement. And a month down the line, there's now this, friendliness, we are supporting you. It has changed. The conversation has changed. So these are some of the conversations that people are having or questions that people are having about this. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you raised a number of issues. I'll take them one by one. First, on the issue of the party remaining strong and as a strong opposition, we must understand the function of the opposition party. Opposition party is not just to say that everything that the ruling party have done is bad. That may have been the principle of some person like former governor of Kaduna State, Rufai, did say that your business is to bring them down. No. In the PDP, we think of Nigeria, not just of our political party. Just take through the history, even before we became opposition party in 2015, and not to the president, the PDP is very much interested in the growth of this country, and not selfish political interest of those who are within the political party. And so, to that extent, we will remain as a very viable opposition party that is committed to the growth of this country. Now, our governor believes that even if you are in the opposition party, today we don't have an opposing president. If APC says something and he does not agree, we will say, no, APC, you are wrong. But we have one president. We have multiple political parties. You must distinguish between the views of the president and the policies of the president and the position of the political parties, even if the manifesto, as it were, is supposed to be driven by the political party. And so when our governor came out and encouraged Deltans to support President Tinubu, he did so understanding patriotically that the president does not have an opponent today as a president. And whether anybody likes it or not, if Tinubu succeeds in his policies, It affects us as Nigerians, not as different political parties. I, my dear sister-in-law, because I know that your husband is from our dear state, you do know that if President Tinubu succeeds, his policies works, even in the media, you will say, you will praise him. Not because you belong to APC.
Of course.
Because you know that he's the one in charge today. Now, coming back to what you talked about Edo State, we did not lose the election in Edo State, and I know you know. But of course, those are some of the challenges of our emerging democracy, where we needed to be able to have proper electoral reforms and then have individuals of credibility manning the electoral body. So that at the end of the day, the vote will not only count, but must be seen to have counted. In Ondo State, it's a different ballgame. APC have been in charge of that state so we are not contesting that to a very large extent, even if we believe that we could have done better. But in the case of Edo State, we believe up to this moment that we want that election fair and square. And so that election is still subject of adjudication, and we hope that the judiciary will be fair enough to be able to give us back our victory in Edo State. And so we do not need to begin to insult President Tinubu to prove a point. Now you talked about an aide saying a different thing. Sometimes aides are very free to progress in error. What is most important is the view and the position of the chief executive. The aide may not have been able to understand the issues at stake. And it depends on what issues you are talking about. Even when the governor says the president is doing well or that the president needs to be supported, that does not in any way mean that the president cannot also improve in some areas in the thinking of the governor. If the president or the APC is able to also implement policies as we are doing in Delta and improve the lives of every other person, the governor is also a Nigerian. And so what does that mean? It means the governor himself will also benefit from good policies of the president. So for us, we don't just go about because you belong to another political party, you begin to fight as if we're in Fuji House of Commotion. We believe as a government that once you support the constituted authority and is able to deliver, you would have been able to benefit directly and indirectly. So it's not just about your political party. That does not in any way weaken our resolve as a political party to get back power at the center, because when we do, we are quite convinced that the PDP has what it takes to perform far better. A very good example is what we did in the 16 years that we were in power, where we were able to move Nigeria, if you recall, in less than 2 years of the Obasanjo administration, from 1999 to 2001, you saw what happened to our GDP. But let's not go into that because that will also take so much of our time in the course of this discussion. Like I said, we need to begin to look at what are those things that makes Oborevwori the poster governor for not just the PDP, but standing out for other 35 governors to begin to emulate. I have also pointed out a number of governors who are also at least making inroads in terms of infrastructure development. But the Oborevwori own goes beyond infrastructure. Okay. Section 14, I said, he has given vent to the provision of Section 14, paragraph B, subsection 2, paragraph B of the 1999 Constitution, who talks about security and the welfare of the people being the primary purpose of government.
Okay, so let's get into some of those. I know one of the achievements that has been celebrated or lauded is prudent financial management. Of course, the executive assistant to the governor recently shared the statement that the governor has reduced the state's debt by more than 180 billion and saved over 205 billion naira. But of course, the APC responded and said that this is a pack of lies. So can you give us an insight into what has been happening with regards to the state's finances? There are also reports that the state hasn't taken up any loans whatsoever. So can you give us clarity, since the APC is saying that any report of financial prudence from the state is a pack of lies? What's the situation?
I told you one time that the reason why the APC in Delta is in disarray is that Oborevwori have continued to reply with projects. They have not been able to understand that mechanism. So when they come and argue what we say, we don't need to join them. We just can even go to their local government. Any APC person in Delta, let him come out. And all I need to ask him, which local government are you from? And we'll show you what Oborevwori have done in your local government for you to understand. Now, let us come to the issues you raised. Oborevwori came in, we have at least some form of huge contractual obligations. That means that there were a whole lot of contracts that were going on that we needed to also fund, as well as take care of also existing loan. In the last 19 and a half months, Oborevwori has paid over 230 billion naira, not just servicing those debts, but liquidating them. to the extent that at the moment, we have just something in the neighborhood of 300. Remember, I talked about contractor, because there are a whole lot of projects that are ongoing. And you know, the moment you award a project is ongoing, certificates come in and all that. There is no contractor today in Delta that can boast of any certificates that have not been paid, except you just presented that certificate. The moment you present it, Oborevwori pays. And you know what? Without borrowing a dime. So I don't need to speak to the issue of his prudence. His action have already clearly elaborated that enough. Now, if he is able to do that, bringing down our debt profile, contractual, largely contractual, and at the same time, some other loans that we took, you recall I talked about the issue of bridging finance that we had to take on account of accruals we were expecting from the federal government. He has been able to also tackle that very, very vigorously. Now, let me take you briefly into some of the legacy projects. We have a bridge, 19 bridges. The Trans-Warri Bridge is 19 bridges of as much as several kilometers. You know what 19 bridges mean? That is being pursued vigorously, inherited from the previous administration. We also talk about the Aniagwu Bridge. The Aniagwu Bridge is 612 kilometers of 18 span of 34 meters in each span. If you understand the span, that means from one pillar of the bridge to the other, 34 meter span, and then 18 of such. In addition to the length of road that you have, which is also being pursued vigorously. That speaks to what Oborevwori talked about when he took over in May 29, 2023, that he is going to pursue existing projects while at the same time initiating new ones. You may have heard of the 3 major bridges that is going on in Warri that is growing as if they have added ammonia fertilizer. If you go to that place today now, whether in NRA Junction or DSC Roundabout or the PTI Junction, you will see how this bridge is springing up sporadically. But not just that it's springing up, it's being handled by Julius Berger. Needn't I go into advertising who Julius Berger is? For anybody who is able to bring them to construct a project, you know what the man means for the people. Now, there's a bridge called the Beneku Bridge, linking the good people of Ndokwa West to their kids and kin in Ndokwa East. That bridge has not only been pursued vigorously, now you can drive through. So those who usually have to convey their vehicles and travel through Pontu, Pontu is this kind of a boat that you have to load some vehicles for the purpose of crossing the water body into another terrain. Now they drive freely, do their business freely. And Oborevwori is not only doing this. If you go to Ugeli South, we have Orere Bridge, a very long bridge as well, over 500 meters. That bridge, now you can also walk across. So Oborevwori is not only keeping faith to the promises he made on May 29, 2023, he is also pursuing them with a whole lot of speed. Don't forget, his agenda is to do more and to listen more. He's not only listening more, he's also doing more. Let me surprise you. At the beginning of this year, I'm not supposed to say it, but for your benefit, let me mention it. Oborevwori called a few of us and said, please, in this meeting, don't tell me those things I may have done well. Tell me those things that I need to improve upon. Tell me the areas that we need to be able to impact on our people. Who does that? It is only a governor who believes that he needs to listen more. Others who want you to come and pre-sing them. Before now, we have been disturbing him. Oga, you are doing these things. You don't even encourage live coverages. He said, look, it is not just for TV. Let us go and give these projects and programs to our people. But today, I am happy that Oborevwori have even done my job more than 50%. So because he has projects that he has done. So even without speaking.
So why is the IGR reducing? Why is there a reduction in the IGR?
There's no reduction. Our IGR is going up.
IGR last year was 17.35%, and it is now reduced to 15%.
No. You must also look at the growth. That 15-point-something percent we're talking about is greater than the other percentage you're talking about. You know, percentage is based on each 100. Now, the last time you talked about, our budget was just about the last budget was a little over 700 billion. Now you are talking about a little less than 1 trillion. So the percentage may have to come down because even when it came, just like when they say 10% of 1 million and 7% of 4 million. You know that 7% of 4 million is bigger than 10% of 1 million. That's just what we are talking about. That does not mean in actual fact that the IGR has come down. Our IGR is actually increasing. We have gone over 100 billion, over 110 billion annually at the moment. Where were we? When Oborevwori came in, from Okowa administration, where Okowa made it at 40-something, he grew it to over 70 billion. Oborevwori have taken it above 100 billion. And our IGR format is not for the purpose of just going to collect money from the people and further inflicting pain on them. Ours is to be able to expand the tax net. And to be able to expand the tax net, Oborevwori is encouraging further, what's it called now, improvement on the human capital of our people so that they are enabled to be able to contribute. Oborevwori is opening up communities so that those communities can also afford to produce. And when they produce, they are also able to come into the tax net. So it's not just a question of saying, Mr. A, Mr. B, come and pay. We want to, first of all, improve the ability of Mr. A and Mr. B to pay, which is what Oborevwori is pursuing. And we do believe that once that is done, even when you collect the tax from them, they will not only see that they are benefiting from their tax, but you would have been able to enable them to be able to contribute conveniently, which is one of the principles of taxation.
All right, thank you so much. You're highlighting, and it just looks like, a star for your governor with regards to all the things he has done. But the politics in Delta State, last year, the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission organized the local government elections. And as we've seen in other parts, PDP swept all 25 local government areas. And so PDP has installed itself as winner in all these local government areas. Senator Dafinonia has said that it was a shame, it was a sham election and a mockery on democracy that is just imposing the governor's will or people on this local government. And it reduces or perhaps eradicates the autonomy of local government. How is that possible that PDP continues to dominate this local? Was there an election held in the first place? How transparent? Because you're talking about free and fair and credible elections in Edo State. But Delta State in itself is being accused of lack of free, fair elections, that the governor still acts as a headmaster over these local government areas. No autonomy.
I would have loved you to ask our dear distinguished senator who made that allegation, where was he when we were campaigning? He never came. First of all, even I'm a Christian. The Bible is very clear on the fact that when you seek, you shall find. When you knock, the door will be open to you. Did APC seek the vote of the people? Did they knock at any door? Go back and do your research and you will see many visuals of a lot of campaign rallies done by the PDP.
For the local government?
For the local government election. Okay. We were not doing it because we believe that the state belongs to us, even when we know that the performance of Oborevwori was enough for us to win. We ignored his performance and we went to the people so that...
All 25 local governments?
All 25. Ask them. There is no single word where the APC campaigned. So they did not seek. How can they find? They didn't even bother to seek. Of course, I understand why they could not seek. Because they were already intimidated by Oborevwori's performance. But if they had tried that a little, and so, okay, in spite of this performance, let us even go and seek a little, maybe they would have been able to find one or two councillors. So please, when they come with those allegations, ask them, please, did you even print a single poster? Did you even go to campaign to the people?
But they said that the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission in itself was compromised. So they withdrew, a lot of the candidates withdrew because they already saw that it wasn't going to be free and fair. So the state government used its powers. And I just want you to respond to these kind of allegations, because you can talk about all these projects. But if it's still the same as other states where the governor is still imposing himself...
There's what they call locus in law. I'm not a lawyer, which means you must even have the ground to begin to seek for certain things before you can come in.
Most of the candidates withdrew.
Now, if you
They didn't trust the process.
No, wait. If you withdrew from an election, and then you didn't even try, Oborevwori did not ask anybody to come to withdraw. He was very clear. Say, PDP, make sure you reach out to the people that this election, he's not going to interfere, and ask anybody. He did not even join us in doing most of the local government. He said no, so that they will not say that the governor is bringing his power. But he encouraged all of us. So all of us, even as aides.
So you're saying politicians who spent money?
They didn't spend. Who did they give?
Because they just didn't feel like
who
running.
did they give the money to? What? Let me tell you.
I'm saying in campaigns.
Let me give them a little secret of what we do in the PDP in Delta. I may not talk about that. When we do in PDP in Delta, we don't have a big man in a local government. You are reduced to your word. As a commissioner, I don't even go beyond my word. I go there. They say, man, talk to man, man, listen. I talk to my people in every ward. Ask them, the people who are talking, who have constituted themselves into position in Delta. Ask them in their local government, which ward are they in charge of? So when we win because, number one, the governor is performing. We win, number two, because we continue to interface with our people. And so those who are sleeping on their bed cannot wake up and think that just like money that what they call in East Igbo say Papa Cheme Kano Wabia, that is just raise your hand, good life has come. Good life doesn't come by just raising up your hand. Even when you raise it and call God. Because God is very clear on the need for you to till the soil and then reap the fruit, that the benefit of what's on.
Ruling by the Supreme Court in terms of financial autonomy, how's that been
in Delta State?
Yes.
Do you know that in Delta State, for the little period that between when the last local government chairman left and when the new ones came, to tell you who Oborevwori is, all the money that was meant for the local government for that little about 3 months window, the man kept it for them.
So do they have their own?
They have their money. Let me in Delta right from the time of the time of Okowa, right from the time of
yes or no?
Right from the time of Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, we have as a state government always assisted our local governments.
Do they have their own accounts?
They have their own accounts. Not only that they have their own account, there are a number of things that the state government assists them in doing. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Look for any local government chairman in Delta. Anyone. I didn't say just some. Anyone. Both the ones who have left office in the last 9.5 years. Go and ask them, does the state government touch your money? They will tell you, even the ones who have moved to APC, if they want to be true to themselves, they will tell you that in Delta, we don't. Do you know that when the Supreme Court ruled about local government autonomy, the people in Delta were not, the local government chairmen in Delta, they were not rejoicing. Why were they not rejoicing? Because number one, they were getting more from the state government. They did not even want only to be spending their own. They wanted it to remain the way it is so that the state government can continue to also bring in some form of a feeding bottle approach where we also give some to them. So while others may be rejoicing because their leaders may have pilfered or touched their funds, go and ask. I say, don't take my word for it. In the last 9.5 years, under the Okowa administration and now under Oborevwori administration, the Delta state government, if you investigate and see that any local government fund was taken by either Okowa or Oborevwori, you can call me anything. I'm saying this and I will repeat it anytime, any day. I'm always very much interested in my own integrity because beyond politics, there's life after. And as my colleagues, I don't want you to see me to say, bros, why you lie now? I am telling you, go and don't ask me. Go and ask anybody. Those who have left, even if they are in APC, and they were local government chairmen before, those who are local government chairmen before, whose tenure have expired, those who are local government chairmen now in Delta, ask them. So not those ones who, don't you say APC, that even when they talk about, they don't accuse us of touching any local government money. All those ones who go and look for what to cook up. In Delta State, they cannot because they know that there is nothing to back it up. So our own autonomy has nothing to do with the Supreme Court judgment. Our own autonomy has been a product of understanding of politics and democracy. And Okowa, as a man who has been in the National Assembly, he started that, and Oborevwori is taking it a notch higher by strengthening it. And so our local government chairmen, we don't even disturb them. Go and look, go come to Delta and see local government chairmen who are building roads. Come and see them. I didn't say, ask me. I said, you come by yourself. Good enough. Your husband is our son. Ask him, bros, are they building roads by local government in Delta?
All right, okay, so finally, before we wrap up, let's talk about minimum wage. I know last year, the governor had given reasons why it couldn't, the minimum wage, which I think Delta State had agreed to pay about 75,000 naira. 77,500 naira.
Which is 7,500 above what the federal government
your state is doing so well. Other states are paying 80,000, 85,000.
No. You must also look at the number of our people.
How many
a state, we have over 50,000.
Are there as many as Lagos State?
Lagos,
in terms of your civil
number one,
servants?
first of all, you must look. Lagos State has 20 local governments. We have 25. Lagos State, if you look at the idea of Lagos State, because of the contribution, including our money that's supposed to be here, because the headquarters of this oil company.
Producing state.
No, hold on. Look,
you get allocation.
That we are producing. When people talk about oil producing states and say we are getting a lot of money, have you bothered to look at what we are contributing? What we contribute to the federation? Lagos doesn't even bring in that contribution.
Yeah, but is the money coming in? But anyways, you talk about the 77,500. I do feel that for a Delta state, your governor could have done more.
No,
to whom much is given, much is expected.
God bless you.
We
are giving more. Do you know that in the last more than 7 years, we have been #1 in oil production in this country?
Yeah, but that should
It didn't happen because we consulted a native doctor.
That should translate.
It happened. It happened.
Mr. Aniagwu, that should translate to the living standards of your people.
Hold on first.
It's not just about oil producing.
You must first of all thank us that because we have now created that enabling environment, we are making Nigeria to survive. When that has sneezed in the course of the crisis, where we had a 42-inch oil Transforcado oil pipeline tampered with, Nigerian revenue dropped. It became a very big problem.
Okay.
But under the leadership of Okowa and what Oborevwori is doing, we brought security to our people.
Okay,
We took projects.
Let's say about minimum wage.
Yes, I'm coming there. We took projects to the riverine communities.
Okay.
Today, Oborevwori is constructing another 12-something kilometers in a place called Okontu to Ogulaha. We are fixing the Ohoro Bomadi Express, which is about 47 kilometers, in the heart of the coastal communities of the Niger Delta, and many other projects that we are doing. Why are we doing it? Because we don't want our people to be approaching the pipelines to begin to look for these projects. We believe that these projects can be seen physically.
All right.
And as they see them physically, they return to us in the spirit of to whom much is given, peace, which is that enabling environment.
Just
now, on the issue of the minimum wage, we did not even wait. You know that some states are still discussing. We did not even wait for any other person, including federal government, to start paying when we started paying. That's 70. Others may be saying we will. We have been paying, not we will. Apart from the fact that we have been paying, Oborevwori at the same time is also bringing in policies to make life much more better for the civil servants. The permanent secretaries were provided with brand new vehicles. The judges have been given as much as 20 brand new Prados because we want to also promote the independence of the judiciary. 6-story high court building made up of 6 court rooms and a number of other ancillary facilities have been commissioned. All this because we believe that the judges need to stay on their own lane. Okay. We are also ensuring that they have the capacity to be able to build quarters for the judges, which before now was not in existence. Oborevwori does not have any reason to say, Judge, come and stay with me because there's nothing he's hiding. We want the judiciary to have their independence, even as we're ensuring that the local governments have their own independence. For the legislature, that's where he's coming from. Do you know that the man, when he left the House of Assembly as the Speaker, he returned 500 million naira to the coffers of the state government. Who else in this country would do that kind of thing? That you have 500 million that have been given to you, and you were leaving office, but you took it and said, no, we did not spend this. Okay. I didn't say 500,000. 500 million naira to the coffers of the state government.
I think you've put forward a convincing case for your governor and for Delta State, and of course we.
But please, when will you come? I want you to just come and see.
We'll definitely come.
Please come and see. You know when they say, come and see what the lab has done. Absolutely. Come and see what Oborevwori is doing.
Absolutely. But the minimum wage, though, I would recommend a review for the people of Delta State. I think Delta State is strong enough.
It is not enough to mention big money and begin to owe.
Well, thank you so much.
Honorable Commissioner Charles Aniagwu, it's always a pleasure to be in conversation with you, Delta State Commissioner for Works and Information.
And thank you, our dear wife, Ayo.
Thank you.
Thank you. But please, I've invited you to Delta.
No, we're coming.
Just come. When you come, we'll hide the only support we will give you, we will provide you a vehicle. Okay. We will not lead you so that you say we're only showing you places. Anywhere you like, just drive to. And then you will see the footprints of Oborevwori.
Roads and bridges, absolutely. All right.